Hello, friends. Give me 1 second.
Oh,
Hello, we're live.
what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Likewise, likewise.
Razzle dazzle. We finally got it together, but that's all that matters.
That's right. It did not allow me to put the title, but that's okay because we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna go in.
Okay. Real quick before we get started, real quick. Huge day was yesterday. We can't just gloss over that real quick. You had a beautiful, 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 beautiful celebration going on yesterday, and the reason was your birthday. So clap it up for you. Feliz cumpleaños and all that good stuff for you.
Gracias, gracias. I feel so blessed. I can't even put yesterday into words, but I'm just blessed to be here. I made it to 30. A lot of people have not made it to that age, and I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I'm all of the above. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle. I think this talk is very important. This talk is very dope. It organically came together just out of dope conversations, and we decided that we're going to share this with the world. So just kind of to give people a view of what we're going to talk about. We're talking about just needing each other. So off top, real quick, I want to just go into one person you're grateful for, someone that you need in your life that has affected you on a great level, and I'll answer the same thing, and then we'll go right into the talk.
Sounds good. Great question, first of all. So I am grateful for a handful of people who I hold very dear to my heart. But tonight's shout out is to my sister Jasmine. She literally keeps me sane. She's my sister, my best friend. She keeps me together. What is life without her? Super grateful for her.
Dope, dope, dope. Yeah, I want to give gratitude to my workout partner. She's freaking awesome. She goes by the name of Chef Lioness, and just keeping on the topic of we need each other as men and women. She came to my house today. She pulled up and she literally forced me to get out of bed and work out and really, 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 really awaken something that was like dormant for a few weeks. And I've been out of commission for a while. Um, by trade, I'm a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, but I fractured my leg.
Mm,
So I really, really, really needed her.
that's
Um,
dope. Shout out
but
to
we
her.
let's go right into it. We were chopping up, having great conversations, and we were trading perspectives. We was really realizing in trading perspective that we need each other's perspective, not just in a romantic sense or platonic sense or family sense, but just in a man and a woman sense. So even the title of this podcast, Men, Women, We Need Each Other, and we're just going to go into why.
Sounds good.
Where, but yeah, so just kind of keep during this downtime that I've been having. I've been used to just kind of just really just working, doing classes. For me to kind of have to take a step back and sit down, it's really having me evaluate the people who I need in my life. And as a man, sometimes I think that I got it, I can do it. But when you're forced to sit down and you have a fracture in your foot, you realize we do need help. And not only when we're injured, but in general.
Everyday and everyday life, whether we realize it or not.
Right.
Powerful.
I also think in terms of like sometimes we're socialized as it's men versus women, and I think that's the
Mhm.
power of this talk that we're gonna have. It's not man versus woman. It's more like just trading opinions. It's kind of someone.
Respectfully too, because like you said, you brought up a good point. A lot of times people feel like they cannot exchange and have a good conversation with opposite sex because it's always going to lead to an argument. Like someone's always going to be combative, and we can agree to disagree because one thing we have realized, we do not think the same, and that's okay. But being able to respectfully share perspective is so important because for that same reason we don't think the same. So I need
Right.
to know how you feel and think, and vice versa. I think it's dope.
Yeah. And then also, like I said, not only are there pitting our views against each other, it's
Mm.
like it's sometimes they're just totally separate. We're not even sharing at all. Sometimes it's just women over here. Y'all have y'all powwow with y'all woman circle.
Right, right.
And then we the guys, we're talking shit over here, and these conversations are totally separate. So we're in totally different rooms. We don't know how each other are thinking.
Right.
And the second that we can be honest and transparent and saying, this is how I feel as a man, and you can say honestly, this is how you feel as a woman. I don't always have to agree, but that's an opportunity to learn.
And it eliminates the assumptions because a lot of times we don't have those conversations with each other because we're too busy assuming. So
Right.
being able to sit down and acknowledge each other's feelings and perspectives is so important. Not even romantically, just with friends, family, business. It really applies to every relationship in your life.
Right. So with this, we just kind of want to open the conversation to kind of being transparent as man and woman, and regardless of how it sounds, even if it's crazy or if it's far fetched, we just kind of want to examine that, and then also invite other people to kind of come in and share their perspectives and tackle those issues that some people don't want to talk about, those
Mm.
things that are very hard. Some people don't even open that level of transparency, but in this day and age, more than ever, I think it's so needed. So
Let's call them the undercover topics, the topics people avoid.
the
And we're going to
topic.
share a perspective. And let's make something clear. We're not going to agree with everything. And you're going to piss me off, I'm going to piss you off, but that's okay. We're going to we're going to share and respect each other's perspective. And it
Yeah,
all goes back to we need each other. Male and female, we need each other no matter what.
yeah. I've learned to when someone says something that I don't agree with, to say just sit with it, be like, that was interesting. Instead of I used to be like, let me just tell you why you're wrong or something
Right,
that,
me too.
and I've learned to just sit with the opinion. Like a lot of times, people will say something, I'll get it later.
Mm.
So in a conversation, I've learned to just sit back and say, okay,
That's
that
fair.
was interesting. I wouldn't have said it like that.
That's all right. I think it's also important too to allow them to say what they're trying to say because I think us as human beings sometimes when we don't agree with someone we butt in and we're like no, I don't hear it, don't even finish it because what you're saying right now is crazy. But I think it's so important to just let them let it out and like you said, sit in it and just be like, I don't agree, but that's okay, you know, and keep it moving.
Just to really have people have healthy conversations. Sometimes we're always arguing just to see people just really like loving up each other, having healthy conversations.
Mhm.
I'm in awe when I see that in other people. When I see people like really and they don't have to be like sit in a relationship, but just people having healthy conversations,
Yeah.
especially as people of color. I'd be like, yo,
Yeah,
sometimes we're pinned against each other so much. When people have healthy conversation, I'd be like, yo, that's some fly stuff.
we're pinning against us every day.
Absolutely.
Other just insane.
So So I had jot down a couple key points. I kind of just want to go in and kind of get your
Going.
perspective, and then vice versa, you go in and get my perspective.
Yeah, come
Really
on.
quick, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. We were just talking about music, right? How like music creates a narrative.
Mm.
And yesterday I stumbled on a country song, fire country song. I believe the artist was like Josh Turner. There's a song called Your Man, and he was just celebrating like just kind of being in love and
Vibing out.
yeah, and just loving woman fully. And I had brought that to a friend of mine. I was like, why doesn't this exist in other cultures? Almost like we're not able to celebrate our women or to kind of give the perspective of I need you. In a lot of these country songs, they clearly tell you I need my woman or however it is. And it's a beautiful storyline behind it. And a friend of mine came and she played me some other songs that add to my perspective. She said, okay, it does exist in our culture. It may not be glamorized or put
Mm-hmm.
on Front Street, but we have to control our own narrative. There are people who are loving up on each other. There are people who are being very transparent. And a lot of times you may not see that appear in rap music or in other genres of music. But there are people there. There are people there, kind of like how there's the huge culture and then
Mm-hmm.
there's subcultures. And in that subculture is a huge community. So my homegirl put me on some beautiful music. We was listening to not Lucky Day. What is it? Luke James.
Oh, okay.
Luke James. She put me on some Luke James. And in this music, they're saying, yo, I need this woman, whether even on a sexual thing, where I need her for tonight, or you're talking about needing woman on a longer kind of thing, like for life.
For in every aspect and everyday life.
So I do wish that I heard more of people celebrating people more like in life, not just in for the night. I think that narrative is painted a lot. Like I need you, I need you. It's like a sexual charge kind of thing, but
Yeah.
it's like saying I need you for tonight. And I wanted to hear more in music of I need you for life. So just question to you real quick, like do you get that from music? Like do you get that longevity or do you get that I need you for the night kind of thing? Like how do you in
I,
terms of
I guess it depends on what type of music I'm listening to. I mean, I'm a huge fan of rap music, but rap is a lot of I need you for the night. And it's a lot of hidden messages. They can also be talking about, because there are some rap music that they praise women and they praise their mothers, their wives, their sisters.
right,
But I think rap as a whole is more of I need you for the night type of
right.
thing.
It
But
was
I'm gonna have to listen to that country music.
it was a joke I said. I was like, yo, Fab has been married to Emily for God knows how long. Listen to his
They're not
music,
even
you know.
married. They're not even married, which is crazy.
I just put that out there. I try to give
Not coming.
extra credit.
Right. I'm about
But,
to come for your life.
but even being in relationships or having someone that they love on like a real level, like you'll never know a lot of times listening to
Yeah.
some people's music. They don't paint that narrative of I
Right.
need you. And sometimes it's even hard for a man to say to a woman like, yo, I need you. And I mean, we need people a lot of times when we're in crisis, but just on a daily basis, on a conversation basis.
And I
On a,
think it's difficult because how we've talked about in the past conversations is it might be difficult for a man to say I need you, and it goes back to childhood. Black,
say
brown,
that.
Hispanic communities
Say
growing
that.
up is like, oh, you can't cry, you can't express your feelings. As an 8-year-old, you're telling this to an 8-year-old boy or girl. Now you have 28-year-olds and 38-year-olds that can't articulate their feelings, that can't say I need help or I love you or this is how I feel. It's always like, oh, I don't know. It really goes back to that childhood.
Another thing I unpacked, just the narratives being passed on. We was talking about this a little earlier, how I remember my mom being a strong woman, her narrative was go hard, don't depend on no man. I'm sure that came from her disappointment from other men, her
Mm-hmm.
being divorced at one point, her being let down. And she kind of built this kind of tough exterior that said, go hard for yours. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to make sure my kids don't go without. But the underlining theme was I don't need anybody. I
Right.
can do this on my own. So that was her story, and it was a survival kind of mechanism that she did build up, but she then passed that on. Sometimes mothers will say that to their sons, yo, make sure you don't live with no woman, make sure you have your own,
Mm-hmm.
and go super duper hard. So on one side, that's very true and it's beautiful to be strong. But when they speak in absolutes and they say, don't depend on no one,
Mm.
or like almost like you're in this world by yourself, that makes this whole thing like very cold and it's actually unrealistic because at some point, like it's beautiful to be strong, it's beautiful to have independence, but
Absolutely.
to be dependent on someone is beautiful, it's natural, it's
And
healthy.
and I think that the word independent alone, people are extremely confused about that word because as someone can hear, oh, an independent woman, and they immediately get intimidated. They think she's combative, she won't submit, she won't listen, she's rude, she's disrespectful. That is not what an independent woman is for me. I take pride in being independent, but I also know that there's a balance to that. I can be independent and meet an independent man and come together in a relationship and we will be codependent of each other.
Say that.
I'm not losing myself, he's not losing himself, but you have to be codependent of each other in any type of relationships because it's a partnership.
Absolutely.
And you brought up a really good point about your mom. And, like you said, it's probably because of her past experiences. And now she's putting down to you guys. So now it's your job to work on that because you didn't know better back then. But now, as an adult, as a grown man, it's either you take that, you continue being that way, or you tap into that and do the inner work and figure out, no, I do need someone. I can be independent, but I do need someone.
Kind of like someone said, I seen a comment, you said you need to be in touch with your feelings.
Absolutely. Hey, Maureen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if someone doesn't even kind of know what they want, or even transparent or mature enough to kind of say yes by asking for help, that doesn't make me weak
Right.
and actually natural. And I believe that man and woman is like a great science experiment where you say this plus this equals this. So the
Hmm.
masculine plus the feminine is that.
Right.
So it's like God has kind of figured out this whole equation for us, and we're subtracting rather than adding to it. And
Absolutely.
so yeah, definitely be in touch with our feelings. So
So I
next
have
point,
a question for you.
let's
Since
shoot,
we're on
shoot,
this
let's go.
topic, since we're on this topic, because I've experienced a lot of, oh, you're too independent or you're too much. What does an independent woman mean to you? What is the definition of that for you? And are
It,
you intimidated by an independent woman?
well, to answer the first question, what does it mean? It means strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's strength. I'll kind of always go back to my mom. I know that even through her strength, even her saying, yes, I have to do it and I have to be super duper strong, I knew what her heart was really saying. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of women who are out there professing this total independence. Um, Inside, people have to come back to that common denominator of, hey, we're born here not to be on this earth by ourselves.
Right.
Uh, does it scare me? It doesn't. I don't want to use the word scare me, but it's off-putting when a woman uses independence to say to isolate you.
Mm-hmm.
Independence shouldn't isolate a man. It should be, yes, I'm independent, but that's not in reflection of how I don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
Independent in my sense of I have a certain self-sufficiency, and that's beautiful. There will be a time when you will be by yourself. You will have to grind, and you will have to kind of pick up the pieces. But if you're in the presence of me, and I can do something for you, or I do something better than you, I would like you to allow me to take it. But if that independence causes you to kind of shun that away, and this again goes back to being in touch with the feelings. If that independence force you to shun away or saying, no, I don't need you, or you act
Right.
like you got it, I'm like, yo, just chill. Like, I'm here for kind of a reason, kind of a reason.
But it
So,
also goes back to that safety because as an independent woman, you won't let go unless that man provides that safety. That man shows you that he can lead. So it goes hand on hand.
absolutely, absolutely. I always say that things shouldn't be in extremes. Life is like a balance. I
Yeah.
figure if you are to one side where you're super duper 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 independent. You're on an island by yourself,
Mm,
having your own resources. And if you're in a point where you're super duper dependent on someone, you're not handicapping yourself from
exactly.
going forward. So I think when we speak in absolutes and we say all or every or no man or something like
Right.
this, like it's not real. So life is somewhere in between. And we
Balance.
have to know it's like give and take. The same way you have to know when you're giving too much
Right. Right.
or even when you're using someone too much.
Or even when you're getting too less than what you deserve too.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. I think it is being transparent to kind of first admit, you know how they say it's okay not to be okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's transparent to kind of just say that, to say, yes, I do need help with this. And you may be able to provide it or not, but I can be transparent and mature enough to say, yes, I'm not ready to do this thing by myself. And I don't think we're supposed to.
Right. We got to break that pattern of how are you? I'm good. How are you? When you know that you're not good, but that's become the norm. No one really goes into details or really truly says, you know what, I'm not okay today. And that's okay.
Yeah, and it was funny. That's the next one I had put. I put ego, not asking for help when it is needed, and I put grown man learning to accept help. So I remember I moved out of my mom's house very young, very young. I was 18 years old when I left the house, and that forced me to have, I would say, a false sense of independence, because literally I was just going out trying to prove that I got it.
Mm-hmm.
So when my mom was saying, allow me to help you, or ask me if I did need help for a good, well over 10 years, I
Wow.
literally rejected the help from my mom, like on any level. And I thought that that was a way of building me up as a strength. And I said to myself that I don't, whether it's financial or on any level, was like, I'm not going to my mom to do this, so I'm not going back to the whole. So I see a false sense of independence
Hmm.
because I did need help.
Yeah.
I did need help, but me being a man, and into my ego, I'm puffing out my chest.
Mm.
I'm not allowing myself to be transparent. And believe it or not, I'm just getting out of that
Wow.
with, and not only with my mom, with other people, but specifically when it came to my mom, it was hard for me to say, "Ma, I need you." I thought that that was a sign of weakness. I
Mm.
thought that, in truth, it was transparency. It was true. I was
Right.
being honest, but I looked at it as a form of weakness, as a form of I'm not doing what you said. You told me to go out there and be a
Hmm.
dependent man and gotta go get
Right.
it. Oh, I didn't think about that. You told me to go and get it without a woman. You told me to not depend on a woman. So actually, my mom, she's included in that.
And
So
that
I
one.
kind of view her the same. She told me not to depend on a woman, so I go out and get it on my own. So even when my mom offers help, I'm like, "You're still a woman who I'm depending on."
Wow.
The whole cycle kind of like,
You see how that goes back to childhood?
that part, like
Like
Coach Jazz said, that part.
that part facts. Wow, because you know, our moms, that's our safe space. That's the one person you should be running to, your mom, no matter how old you are. But
Mm.
the way that your mindset, you're like, my mom is a woman and she told me not to depend on women. She's included in that group of women. That is insane. It's powerful. Wow.
It's funny. I didn't even process it like that till literally just now. But yeah, like that's how I was kind of bred, and I had to literally, in the word I say, humble myself
Mm-hmm.
and uh and look and say, yes, ma, I do need you. Kind of like now, I called my mom up a couple days, and she lives out in Georgia, and I said, ma, the doctor told me
Need you.
I need you. I need you. And what's beautiful, not only your mom, but a lot of the women in your life, they will help you with open arms. And a
Absolutely.
lot of times women are waiting to help you. Like, I was waiting for you to ask.
It's
I
our
was here.
nature. It's our nature. We wanna, but you know what? It's a good thing, but it also can backfire on us because sometimes we are so giving and so helpful that we think we could fix people, and specifically
Mm.
fix a man, and you can't. Isn't that a song, K Michelle? Is that the song? Can't fix a man, something like that. There you
So you're
go.
saying
Said it.
almost like being overly helpful to the point
Yep.
where you're doing too much?
Doing too much. Doing too much. If you're trying to help someone and they don't want to be helped,
Okay.
then you
Um,
end up breaking yourself.
I was realizing a lot of this is about reciprocation. Because even in terms of me accepting help, I should accept help because I give help. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always there for people. So the second that someone comes around and says, "Hey, here's a helping hand," I should look at it as I deserve it. It's
Mm-hmm.
the ebb and flow of life, breathing in and breathing out. Look out for you, look out for me. So
Right.
if a man's taking care of you, it's automatic or
Right. Ego
instinctual.
gets in the way. That's when the ego gets in the way. And you're like, even though I helped you 10 times, this one time that I need the help, I don't want it. That's your ego.
Mm,
Always a working.
mm.
I think that's something that all of us, that's a lifelong journey, working on your ego because it pops up in different situations and you don't know until you're put in that certain situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
My next point I had, and it's funny how everything you were saying is just kind of flowing into. I was
uh,
saying, you'll be deserving of help. Like
mm,
understand that, like if you are showing up for people and you are actually there, you deserve it. If you're an awesome person
yeah,
and you're the go-to, you need to go to.
right. Especially of people who love you, people that you know genuinely love you. Because I can understand sometimes not wanting to help because you feel like it's not coming from a genuine space, or you feel like someone is going to bring it up in the future, like, oh, you owe me this because I helped you. But if you know that that help is coming from someone who genuinely loves you, and you could tell because energy does not lie, it's okay to accept the help. And right now, I sound crazy because I know it's a lot easier said than done. I need to say that to myself too, but it's true.
Question. I got a question for you now.
Okay.
In terms of speaking on actually having someone there as a genuine support. sometimes it can like the help can seem conditional. Like, someone's helping me because they're into me or they're attracted to me. And that's why I think friends are so important, or platonic friends are so important, because those are people who kind of show up for you without any conditions. Those are the people that actually are there just the genuine support versus I'm there to kind of receive something. When
Right.
it comes to dealing with men, do you feel that genuine support from men, or from I'm just here just to support, not because I want something from you?
I guess it depends on the situation. And I guess it depends on the type of relationship you have with that man. But I can generally say I have really good male friends that I know that if I needed the help, or they have helped without expecting anything in return. But that's just a friendship. When it comes to like dating and relationship, that's a little bit different. Again, I feel that I won't know where you're coming from until I feel safe. So once I feel safe, then I can say, okay, if he's offering help, it is from a genuine space. But that all comes with actions and patterns. So I guess I'm like in the middle. I guess for me, I have to really get to know someone before I can even accept help from you. Because I want to
Mm.
know it's coming from a good space and it's coming from a good heart. Not you expecting like, oh, I'm gonna help you with this. I'm gonna fix your tire, but then you have to sleep with me or something like that.
Mm. Funny enough, now from the male's perspective, I had a hard time almost appreciating my platonic friends, like literally the people who are there just to kind of be there. And I even had a hard time even finding out who's really my friend and who's not.
That's
I used
I
to think,
gotta cut you off. That is so tough as adults. That is so tough trying to figure out, okay, are you really my friend or are you just here because you just want to be nosy, or are you just here because you want something from me? Or maybe you're here because you see something in me that you want to take from me eventually. So as adults, it's really hard.
check it. In the past, I used to think, and this is my flawed way of thinking, that it seemed as long as we're romantically connected, you'll give me the world. You'll be my support system for life. If I need you to cook, you'll do that, you'll do that. But the second that romance is gone, it's like I lost the help as well. Or it's like literally it's non-existent. So I learned how to cherish my platonic friendships and actually build off of just that instead of pushing it in the romantic
Mm-hmm.
sector. Because as soon as it climbed the romantic sector, it seemed conditional.
Mm-hmm.
And the condition was, are we romantic or not? Oh, we're not romantic anymore. Oh, I'm out.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, where was it? Where was the genuine partner? I know that's a deeper rabbit hole to kind of go, but
But
it
wait, I have
has.
a question. I have a question with that.
It's,
So when you say that it became romantic, so feelings were involved, or by romance you mean you guys were involved in sexual intercourse and then the friendship took a different path?
I think, yeah, the latter, the
Mm-hmm.
friendship took a different path. It turned sexual, and then actually became something more probably than just friends.
Mm-hmm.
But now the help or the support, like the genuine help that because I'm thinking even in the romantic standpoint,
Yeah.
I was hoping that it was still genuine.
Right.
But usually it's conditional based on the relationship, and I'm learning to understand that even more because there's feelings, emotions, and a woman even being in your presence to help you. It's probably conflicting for her now. It's like, okay, we're not no longer in this romantic space, but you expect me to still be here to cook for you. I
And the
can
form is
understand that.
her protecting herself because now, she gave you her body. And not just you, I'm speaking like in general, it's a form of women protecting themselves. Okay, because if I give you my body and I'm giving you all this time and all this energy and sexual intercourse, energies exchange so much. And then we're just going to go back to being friends. And then you're going to call me when you need me. Then I'm out. I got to protect myself and my feelings.
Mm. But now, in terms of the genuine support, maybe not to the level of intimacy
Mm-hmm.
that you once supported me, but if we're the root of our friendship is genuine support, shouldn't we always be able to come back to that? Just based off of saying, hey, we still need each other.
Yeah. So if it's reciprocated, absolutely. Yeah.
But now, from a woman's perspective, when it crossed that romantic side, it's kind of like all or nothing. Would you say that?
I guess it depends. It really depends because it could take two different routes. Well, sometimes you cross that line and you're like, you know what, we're gonna work on it and be committed and work onto something that's bigger, or we're just gonna stay where we're at, continue having sexual intercourse, and then just be friends. So I guess it really just depends on how you feel about that and what you're looking for as a woman. But most women want that commitment. They want that safety. They want that partner because again, if I am cooking for you, if I am you're calling me when you have an emergency or you need help, if I'm sleeping with you, if I'm sleeping over, I'm doing all of these things that I do for a partner, then you're going to make me a partner because that's unfair for you to get all these benefits and then you're just like, no, you're my friend. And that causes trauma, that causes heartbreaks. It comes with a lot. So it's better to break that and or not mix the two.
Gotcha. So there's a level of support. There's like friend support.
Right.
I mean, that's how I look at you on that level. And then there's romantic support or relationship support that it is conditional because it's based off of the level that we're at.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. One thing I want to do is also open it up as we go on to having people kind of tune into us. This
Yeah.
conversation is beautiful. This is something that we could have definitely had on FaceTime and kind of do it. But being that we're putting this out to the world, I also want to hear the perspectives of other women and other men. So as we explore these topics and as we have these ongoing podcasts, opening up to the people because these perspectives are so needed.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like I said, it's you over there and me over here, and we don't get a chance to be like, that's interesting.
And everyone has a different perspective. You know, it's good to hear from different men and different women because even though we are the same sex, we think differently too. Not all women think the same. Not all men think the same. So something that I might say, another woman might be like, "Oh no, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just being his friend with benefits." And I might be like, "No, not my."
Question, and this is something I'm sure men would love to know in terms of needing us. In terms of needing us, give me top three things that a man is like you need from a man. I know this kind of sounds like you're picking apart based on, but like I said, everything's different. Some people it's a financial thing, sometimes it's a compatibility thing, sometimes it's a conversational thing or whatever. And I'll answer that. So top three things that I don't want to say men are good for in your life,
No,
but
but I need in a relationship.
that you require from them.
I need him to be there spiritually. If a man cannot connect with God, he cannot connect with me. That's number one. Number two, I need him to be available emotionally. If he cannot express himself, tell me how he's feeling. Not even about just him and I, but tell me how he's feeling when I say, how are you doing? How's your mental? If he can express himself, then he can tell me how he feels about me, our relationship, or where we're heading. So spiritually, emotionally, and safety. If I don't feel safe, I'm not going to be myself. I'm not going to give myself to you, and I'm not going to be with you.
Mm.
And
Mm.
wait, let me add to that.
Hey, go, sprinkle, girl,
I feel
sprinkle.
like people are always like, oh, independent women can't submit. We can, but it goes to those three. For me, it goes to those three things. If you're not
Mm.
connecting with God, if you can't express your feelings or even like articulate what's going on in your day-to-day life, and if you can't make me feel safe, then I will not commit.
Mm. What was the third one? Is spiritually connection with God, your connection with your emotion. What was the
Mhm.
third?
And safety, providing that safe space for me.
Man, that's
And
so
it could be safety can be anything, right? I could have a long day at work and I want to call you and you're gonna tell me, come over, I got you, I'm just gonna sit next to you and your presence is gonna calm my spirit. You're making me
mm,
feel safe. And it's not only like, oh, if I'm out and a guy hits on me, I need to call you for you to fight. That's not the only form of safety. Also, another form of safety is that you can lead. That if I'm gonna be with you long term, I know that we're gonna have a good future. That's safety for me.
mm, dope. I have a tendency to ask questions and I don't know the answer to them myself. So I'll be like, I'll ask for your top three. And I
No,
ain't
now, right. Now it's your top three. Because I
top
can
three.
talk about this all day. We're gonna come back to this.
Yeah, it's deep. The first thing I would say, genuine companionship, like in terms of like just the like I said, not only just the presence, but someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to kind of just get something off of real quick. Like I said, things outside of and can also be romantic. So I don't want to say outside of the romantic realm, but outside of just relating human to human. I want to know someone that can just vibe me and relate to me human to human. Like I said, sometimes it's just the presence of someone. Sometimes it's just I need perspective on something. So having my woman as that just person to bounce ideas. So I could say companionship. That's definitely one. Um like I said, I didn't even think about my top three because
That's right. That's why you threw the question at me first, huh?
that's how it always goes. You know, you got to give me time to think. So while you're going, I'm usually working on mine. But no, that really comes to the top for it. Because men, I don't want to say we're very simple, but a lot of times we're very simple when it comes to that. In terms of you could just make a man kind of feel good, or like bring him back to that kindergarten, first grade stage. Me and my best friend just kind of shooting the shit kind of thing. That's what we kind of want. So we don't require necessarily the same things from women. Definitely on the financial kind of thing. We don't usually look to you guys for that. Even in terms of leading, um, not so spiritually and emotionally, I don't look for the leadership from you guys, but I do look for the reciprocation on that. Like if I'm at a certain kind of level, I do expect you to kind of mirror that in some kind of way.
Of course.
So I will take the lead in terms of spirituality, in terms of connecting with God. I mean, praying together and stuff like that, or even showing you that I can be vulnerable with my emotions. So now you can turn around and you'll be vulnerable with your
Right.
emotions. So I'll lead in that kind of thing. But what I do require from the woman to kind of be in the same kind of playground with me, to kind of be able to meet me and match me on that level. But what I think what's most important is just the genuine companionship, or just shooting the shit and just kind of bouncing ideas off, or just the simplest things. Perspective. That's what we kind of need.
That's so interesting that you said you don't require that. You don't really, as men, you guys don't really look for a woman to lead, whether it's financially or just leading the relationship, the household. And for us, that's so important. You see, this is why it's important to exchange perspective.
Perspective. I read, and this kind of rings true for me. And this kind of talks into the independent woman mindset. Men, we love independent women. There's nothing wrong, or I would say a strong man loves an independent woman.
Yeah,
There's
I would say
nothing
that
wrong.
strong man and a man who's confident in himself, who's not going to be intimidated by us independent women, then you guys love us. But if a man is not confident in himself and is just always in a negative state of mind, he's going to be intimidated by independent women.
Absolutely. But even when I say independent, I'm not talking about necessarily how much money you make or things like that. I'm talking about the self sufficiency, like have a mind of your own. So I've read and kind of ranged true for me. Sometimes men don't care how much you make, especially if he's in a good position.
Right.
And a lot of people, a lot of women, they'll pride themselves off of their independence based off of how much money they make. And especially if he's in a position to provide financially, he doesn't care how much money you make.
Right.
That's not when he says independence, that's not something that it's like a highlight for him when I say independence, in terms of being able to think for yourself, being able to
The confidence in yourself,
right.
the way you
That,
carry yourself. Yeah, yeah.
that's it. And if you have your own, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing. But men, if they've already reached a level to where they're able to provide, and they're like, I want you to show independence in another thing. But a lot of times with women, independence is synonymous with how much money you made or how many degrees you have. And in reality, a man doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about that. I think, from not to take away from your level of intellect, because maybe that's beautiful. Someone with a level of intellect,
Sure.
self sufficiency, being able to kind of do on your own. But when independence is tied solely to a status, that's meant like, we don't care how much money you make. It doesn't matter. But we do want you to be an independent thinker. But yeah,
To balance it out. To balance it out.
absolutely,
It
absolutely.
is the balance. So
Yo, this is why exploring this concept. I kind of want to not only put the vibe out there, something that we'll definitely explore more, but I want it to also be an example of a healthy conversation that people can kind of just
right.
see, and also people can kind of tap in. And I want to grow this this. I don't like the word podcast. Like a talk show. I wanted to find another
Yeah.
beautiful word.
Like, let's think of a another word. We already know that it's called We Need Each Other. I don't know.
Mm,
We Need Each Other podcast, talk show. We'll think of something.
we're gonna come, we're gonna come up with it, but
And I thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for tuning in.
yeah, yo, sometimes what I'm noticing about lives and engaging with other people, sometimes I'll be so in the conversation, people be in the comments. So I just
Yeah,
want to say shout out to
there's
everybody who
facts in the comments.
shout out to everybody who pulled up and kind of, but we're opening it up to having other opinions. Great topics, Jazz. Lifelong journey, indeed. Let me see what else we got. Kayla, you look beautiful.
Thank you, Maureen.
That's right, partnership. And to kind of add to that, I think also culturally, like what we're talking about is a lot of things that are kind of given to um, people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think other cultures they build differently. Whether it is the the early age of getting married, in other cultures, it's actually praised to get married younger because you now grow with each other. It's not a thing of we don't need each other. It's how can we do this kind of together. There is no successful business. There is no successful family. There's no successful relationship that is done by themselves. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So if we think that we can have any real success, whether business or on any facet of life, and you think you can do it by yourself, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But we grow up with this superhero mind state where they tell me the same thing they tell you. They tell you go out and get it. You don't need such and such, and they tell me go out and get it, and you don't need such and such. And now we're in direct competition with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how
It's
it is.
into that grind. Go get your own. You don't need to sleep. You wake up and do this and X, Y, and Z. Now you're exhausted. You're depressed. You don't want to do anything. You're lonely. It all goes back to that. We need each other.
Need each other. And I kind of want to take that concept of we need, or specifically, and I want to speak to not just humanity as a whole, but specifically men and women. I think that dynamic we really need. That's something we need to work on. So men and women, we need each other and explore how it applies to so many other facets of life, so many other things, whether dating, whether child rearing, whether whatever. And I want this conversation to keep going.
Me too. This is dope.
So I think it was important to kind of just start the vibes real quick to kind of invite people into our world. This whatever we're gonna call it, podcast, talk show, whatever. But this exchange came from genuine conversations. So when I was on the phone with you and I realized that you had a perspective that men need to hear, and you probably said the same thing to me.
Yeah.
I have a perspective that y'all need to hear. And then when we can have a platform like Instagram to put it out public, I think that's beautiful. And I think more people need to engage in conversations like this. And it doesn't have to be based off of any kind of romantic kind of thing. It can kind of be just like, yo, hey.
Just vibing with the opposite sex. I think more people need to realize that. I can sit down and have a conversation with you. I can go grab something to eat, have a coffee with you, and we could just sit down and have a dope conversation. It doesn't have to be romantically or sexually. We can just talk about life.
In the array of men and women need each other, we can't avoid that. We can't avoid that. So I think that's also part of it in terms of partnerships, in terms of sexuality, in terms of just genuine conversation, or just you fractured your leg, so I need someone to kind of bring me back, or whatever it is. It's a huge pie. We need to talk about it all. Just vibe.
And an important key point here too, even if you eventually end up having some type of romance with that person, every relationship should start with a friendship. So once you get into that door and you have those deep conversations and those topics that everyone avoid and build that strong friendship, it's so much easier, if both parties agree, so much easier to jump into that romantic relationship. But a lot of people skip that part and end up in relationships with strangers or end up dating people they really do not like.
So what came to mind real quick is you can establish how you need each other on a friendship level, on a platonic level, and then you build on that. your romance is going to be super duper fire. Your marriage is going to be like fucking amazing. It's going to be amazing because wait, you broke up. Say it one more time.
I said you end up miserable. I said you're married to your best friend because you got to know that person for who they are as a human being, as a friend, and then you realize you like them. And okay, oh shit, I can really move on with you.
Right. Well, even establish that
That's
base.
miserable. That's true.
Establish that baseline, like from a humanity standpoint. Like, hey, yes, you are beautiful. Yes, you are that. But and from a humanity standpoint, we just need each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of just build off of that. Like, all right, we need each other. Oh, I like this. Okay, I like this. Oh, support. And you mix in a whole bunch of other stuff, but the basis of it is, as men and women, we need each other.
Oh, this was dope. This was powerful.
That's fire. I think we did good.
Great.
I think we did great, and I wanted to kind of, like I said, just put out the vibe without talking people's ears off, but just giving people a little slice into our world. Right.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who joined. We appreciate you all. We hope you enjoyed it. And there's more to come. A lot more to come.
So before we get out of here, one more thing you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be someone, just in general. Let's end on some gratitude. It can be someone, anything.
I'm just so grateful to be alive. I entered my new decade yesterday, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
When's the next one? What I do know, we're both going to be like traveling very soon. So
yes, we need one. Maybe in about, I don't know, the beginning of November. Well, that's too far. The buys are dope. We need to figure something out. We need to do a eyeball on vacation.
I think if we can dedicate this a quick 30-minute podcast once a week, I'll be cool with that.
Yeah, me too. Once a week.
So,
we'll figure out the logistics and solidify everything, and we'll
to be determined.
But we will definitely be back.
Okay. I'm grateful for having people walk into my life that are unexpected. I'm grateful for the people who are literally taking care of me in my downtime. The people who just generally show up for me.
So,
shout out to you. Shout out to you. So dope. This has been dope. Yo, till next time, we're gonna keep promoting once again. I see a lot of your people on here who may not know me. I see a couple of my people, but I go by name of Classic. I'm a personal trainer, group fitness trainer, and also a public speaker. And I want to use my voice to kind of share this beautiful, healthy perspective of mine. Okay. And real quick, just to the people who some of my followers may not know you, just real quick.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keila. I currently work in the health field, but I have a background in business, and I am into women empowerment. I love to travel, and I just want to bring us together. And that's what we're going to do in this podcast.
Dope. Probably should have did that at the beginning, but it's all good.
I know, right? It's okay. No, we make the rules.
We make the rules, yo.
Not us doing the introduction as an end.
It's cool. Genuine conversation is the vibe. Genuine healthy conversation is the vibe, and I think that's what we need more. So shout out to everyone who pulled up. Shout out to Lioness. I see you. I had a couple.
Jasmine, Hassan.
Love right. You. All right. So Keila, till next time.
All right. Until next time.
Pew, pew, pew.
Oh, I like that. Wait. What was it? Pew, pew, pew.
I got that from I don't know what dance that is, but
okay, it's gonna be the goodbye dance. What was it? Pew, pew.
Dope. Later.